Some friendships don't end in a fight. Nobody stops calling. Nobody decides anything. The friendship just quietly happens less, and then less, until one day you realize they've stopped.
We said we'd get together after I retired. We really meant it. That was 18 months ago.
And here's the strange part. Those friendships were real. You weren't wrong about them. The closeness was genuine. The people were genuine. What quietly disappeared was what had been holding them together. Most people don't lose friends in retirement. They lose the situation that kept certain friendships going. And they often don't notice the difference until the friendships are already fading. There are three types of friendships that tend to be most vulnerable. Let's look at them.
We worked together about 12 years. Had lunch pretty often. We said we'd stay in touch.
The work friendship feels close because in many ways it is close. You've seen this person almost every day for years. You know things about them that most of their other friends don't. The difficult colleagues, the office politics, the conversations that only made sense if you were there. It doesn't feel like something that only existed because of the job. It feels like one of the more solid ones in your life. Then the job ends, and you mean it when you say you'll stay in touch. For a while, you do. A few texts, maybe lunch once. Then the rhythm slows. Not because the friendship changed, because what was putting you in the same room stopped. That building you both showed up to every morning, it was doing more than you realized. Every morning, same floor, same coffee station, same parking lot. You didn't choose to see each other. You were both just already there. Take away the place, and staying close requires something it never needed before. It requires effort, and effort is a different thing than just being there.
Same time every Tuesday and Thursday. For years. I still think about calling her sometimes.
This friendship lives inside a routine, not a workplace, a gym, a golf course, a morning walk, a standing lunch. You see each other regularly enough that the friendship stops feeling like something you maintain. It just feels like part of the week. Then retirement changes something. Your schedule or theirs. One of you moves, or you retire and they're still working, and the Tuesday morning that always worked for both of you suddenly only works for one. The friendship didn't end. The overlap did. And without the overlap, there's no natural moment to step back in. You think about reaching out, but reaching out feels different than running into each other did. Running into someone doesn't need a reason. Reaching out does. But sometimes the only honest reason is this: I miss seeing you on Tuesdays. And somehow that feels like too much to say. The activity kept you close without either of you having to think about it. The moment the activity stopped, nobody knew how to replace it. If any of this sounds familiar, there's a free 2-minute retirement snapshot below. It's designed to help you understand where you are in the retirement transition right now. You'll find the link below.
We used to see them constantly. Kids the same age. I'm honestly not sure when that stopped.
Couple friendships are held together by shared phases of life. Children the same age, the same neighborhood, work events you both attended, social occasions that put 4 people in the same room without anyone having to arrange it. They're often the friendships that feel most like real friendships because they touch so many parts of your life at once. Then the phases shift. One couple retires and the other doesn't. The neighborhood changes. The kids grow up and move. And suddenly, the weeks look nothing alike on either side. Nobody withdraws. Nobody decides anything. But the life that kept putting you in the same room stops doing that. And once it stops, you realize how much of the closeness was just the calendar doing the work, not any actual decision by either of you to stay close. You still consider them friends. They probably still consider you friends. Nobody is wrong about that. The shared life that made you feel close has simply moved on, and neither of you quite noticed while it was happening. None of these friendships were fake. That's worth saying out loud. The colleague you had lunch with for years, that was real. The gym friend you saw every Tuesday, real. The couple you saw every other weekend, back when your kids were in school together, also real. But all three had something in common. They were held together by something outside the friendship itself. A building, a routine, a shared phase of life. When that structure changes, the friendship has to survive without it for the first time. And sometimes it does. But sometimes you realize the two of you weren't just connected to each other. You were both connected to that same situation. And when the situation changed, so did everything else. The friendship didn't fail. It outlived the structure that held it together. Sitting with that tends to change how it feels. Not as a loss, just as something that quietly stopped and never quite returned.
Subscribe for more reflections on retirement and what happens after the structure of life changes. Then take the free 2-minute retirement snapshot to better understand where you are in the retirement transition and what comes next. Scan the code or click the link below.